Here's a quick ayahuasca story that I call the Dandelion Story that I would like to relay today. In the middle of this Ayahuasca journey, I found myself in an open field, a beautiful green pasture. And as I was sat in the middle of it, I looked around and it was covered with dandelions. And I was told that all your problems are like these dandelions. And if you don't like them, you can just blow them away. And symbolically, I was in the field and I was surrounded by anything that came my way and was told, hey, if you don't like it, just let it go. And I was sitting there blowing this direction, blowing that direction, and all the problems of the world scattered away. It was an interesting, symbolic experience about how to treat these, problems and things that come up in your life. And while I'm not suggesting at all that we can simply wish problems away or ignore them and hope that they'll go away, or that there's some magic step that we could take that could reverse course on things that really aren't going the way that we prefer. Of course, that's not going to happen. I think the lesson, though, is that rather than look at problems in your life that are all-consuming and that have this control over you, you can take an independent perspective, step outside of the problems, essentially in the psychedelic way of things, stepping outside and taking a look at what's going on in your day-to-day life, and do your best to be independent and say that, hey, while I may not be able to change the exact circumstances of what's going on, realize that like the dandelion, they're very temporary. And if you can process these things that happen in an independent manner and pull yourself outside and say, hey, these are just temporary circumstances, things will change, things will get better, then you are in a sense blowing them away because you're not letting them take control and dominate your thoughts and dominate your actions. You are independent of these things that are happening, and it's only a change in perspective that's required in order to make this leap. And some of the things that look like problems may end up being great benefits. Sometimes the roadblock in the immediate is something that will lead to something much better in the future. So it's just a perspective of looking at problems and saying, you don't control me. I'm going to do my best to put a positive outlook and spin on things, and realizing that no matter what it is, it's temporary, because you, as I've said before, in the game of life are 100%. I also want to segue quickly into a point that became very relevant to me that I think will help people in looking and evaluating other people, what other people are saying, and how you need to be your own person. And that lesson really comes out of the very much cherished Super Bowl win and second Super Bowl victory of my Philadelphia Eagles just this past Sunday. If you listen to the pundits, everyone, almost to a man, was going on about, well, look, these people have won before. This other team, they've done it, and they're twice in a row, and they've got the coaching, and they've got the experience, and we really don't see a way for the Eagles to pull this one out. And then you look now at the result, and look what happened. And if you look back, and people are very susceptible to negativity. So when people are putting out their long-held and strong beliefs about, oh, this is going to happen, there's no way for this to happen, it can really weigh heavily on somebody and can get you to think differently about something you were really positive about or something you were looking forward to. And the reality is, we beat the off the Kansas City Chiefs, 40-22, and basically 14 of those points came in garbage time. It was an absolute blowout. And now if you look back at some of these pundits, what do they have to say? Well, I guess it was a mistake. I guess I was wrong. We didn't really see that coming. And so the lesson is, don't listen to anybody, because a lot of people just talk shit. And it's easy to get enthralled by negativity because it's easy to say that nothing can really change. All these things that have happened before are just the way it is and you have to accept them. And that's total crap. We can change things, we do change things, and put aside the negativity, because at the end of the day, 5 minutes after the game, these naysayers, what do they have to say? Nothing. So don't put any stock in that, because you have the power to bring about things that you want to bring about. And that just meshes really nicely with problems and everything that happens, because life will continue to be a big mishmash and things are going to continue to go on. And so rather than listen to people and outside sources, or let yourself get dragged into the monotony of, problems that come up, take the psychedelic approach, step outside of it. Don't listen to anybody. Anything is possible. You can create your own reality, and anything that's not going your way is temporary. That is the psychedelic message of the day. Have a good one.